of the main findings. Okay. This is the graphical abstract that I have given for my review. It is about the nuclear waste management. So this is an image probably from Kalpakam or any nuclear waste, images, and you look at that. I've given them molecules that I used, and I can just give the strategy that I adapt. The second one is like this: how a carbon dioxide is converted into a gas, and through this. So these are the industries they are working on. So infographics are very, very important. Nowadays, we have a lot of online tools, AI tools, or softwares available. Please, well versed in any of the top softwares. I am very happy to work with only PowerPoint, and with PowerPoint, I can create a lot of good images. For your information, I'm just showing that this is one of the graphical abstract my student did for his work. A person with a beard, because my student has to have the beard, so he wants to have the beard in his papers, representing that. So all of his graphical abstracts, whenever a man comes, he will be coming with the beard. And the other one you see here, there is like Americium and Europeum, and butterflies are picking on this. Look at that, a person and a bull that is coming, and this is trapping. You look at that again, the person with the beard, that nothing but my student working with that. And here you see that queen is looking at that, whether I want to go for this or that. They're picking a right one. All these are the same concept, but there are 10 numbers. I want to pick one. That's it. Look at that, the person is dropping from the helicopter. Which one is landing first? Again with the beard. And it's a lizard catching a particular color of flies. Look at that, the man with the beard is going with the actinides and dumping into nitric acid. Here a person is just taking that, which one is good. And again, nuclear waste and all the molecules are swimming. You have the game and how that is working out. Crabs, crabs, how that is taking away the americium. There's a game where it picks americium and so on. So all these things we did using PowerPoint. That is the thing. So now a few tips. The first one is define your question. Okay, sir, I have some idea. Can I write it? Okay, that's the first step. Good thing. But define your question. Take your time to identify the research question and carefully articulate the topic of your review paper. So it should be relatively broad. We cannot pick one particular element and we can work. So it should be relatively broad. And we need to know that can we add something out of it when we say different perspectives are culminated together. That is very, very important, right? So you need to have a good question. If you have a good question, that's great step to start with. Then you need to look at that. What are the sources from where I can collect the literature? Of course, we have only Google Scholar. Good. But whether your keywords are good. Okay. Let's say how many of you know the word work from home, the phrase. We're very particular about, right? Work from home. Now it's very common actually after COVID-19. Am I right? Yes, right? Work from home. But when we wrote the article, because I'm from chemistry, I'm working with the economic person, economics and the commerce and so on. And this incident happens like when the faculty communicated a paper, work from home, the editor returned the paper and asking that, what do you mean by work from home? Then we wrote like, during COVID, the offices are closed. We worked from home and so on. Then the particular editor said, oh, are you talking about remote working? Remote working may be a different term for us, but for them, that is remote working. Similarly, brinjal, we call that as a brinjal, but if you go out of the country, they call that as an eggplant, right? So the terms are different, how people are being used. You really need to know. So the search engines with the keyword that you give, that should be authentic. Take notes. So you have to read. No substitute for that. So a literature search involves extensive reading, which can make it difficult to recall relevant information. So note taking is very, very important. So you have to just write. I have shown a lot of sticky notes. Just put like, okay, this paper is talking about this, we need to talk about that, and so on. Then describe the title, abstract, and introduction. Just come up with a logical flow. Okay, I'm going to write this as a first paragraph, or first page, second page, third page, and so on. Something like that you need to have, so that you can organize that. And we have to be unbiased and critical. For the sake of citing, no. For the sake of criticizing, no. You have to write in an unbiased way. That is very, very important. You may be happy to work with the silver nanoparticles, so you are just projecting a lot of references from silver nanoparticles, but titanium nanoparticles are better than that probably, but you hide that. No, don't do that, right? So these are the important things with which you can start your writing the review. And finally, when you write and complete, you should set good summary, what you want to convey to the reader, that you really need to know. Because when the editor receives your article, the editor will look at the title, and after reading the title, the editor would have gauged the thing that what you are trying to say, that is the abstract, and then immediately say, what is the takeaway that these people are going to talk about? Are they interesting? Are they enriching? If that is the case, then probably your paper is having a good chance of getting into peer. Okay. Now, how to write an introduction? This is very similar to the paper, but certain things that you really need to look at that. So you have to clearly state that why and how. Why this problem is arising? Why do we need a review? And how I have articulated the stuff. All these things you need to really look at that. The main thing is, what is a research gap? Why do we need a review for this? There are n number of papers available. Why do we want to have a review? So please think about it and write. The good thing is always you really go and read a lot of review articles, then you can adapt the salient features from there. The methodological section of a review, that is very, very important, because when you write a narrative review, it's fine, but we can say that I'm going to talk about the Nobel Prizes in literature, let's say. Then you cannot say that from 1900 to till date there may be a number of people have got. Now you can refer that I am going to look at that the Asiatic region, or I am going to look at the people, those who are who are awarded the Nobel Prize from 1990 to 2025, and the Nobel Prize Committee really look into this way, so that out of 25 people or 35 people have got Nobel Prize till this year. Out of 35, most of the time they are giving prizes to people who worked with war, peace, sustainable, and so on. You can think about it. So you need to really look at the methodology. That is mandatory for meta-analysis. Okay. And the selection details may include time frame and all these things, and why, what you include, what you exclude, why did you include, why did you exclude. All these things you need to mention in the methodology. And the main section, in very simple term, you have to say that what is new. So this is like, what is your contribution? What is a logical flow? What impact you would like to drive, and how well it is done. So these things should be there in the main body of your content. The flow of the main body of a review article must be well organized. Again and again, I would like to emphasize here on, it should be well organized. One paragraph or one topic to other topic, that should be a thread, common thread. And from one topic to other topic, the transition should be very smooth, and there should not be any logical flaw, right? So that you really need to know, so that when people read your article, they will feel very enriching and refreshing. Tables and figures. Okay. In my suggestion, if you want to write that, you develop some figures, you can adapt some figures. Okay. Two things. Suppose like after reading all these things, I realized that, okay, financial inclusion means people have talked about only 7 aspects. So you can come up with a flow chart, which no paper did it, but you have gained information and you are projecting that. Or you can say that I'm going to tabulate all these things, I want to give that. For example, I'll show one table that my student did for his work. Let's say I'm going to take the July 25th one. Okay, so first thing I said that, okay, we want to write a review. So why don't you look at that list of reviews published in the previous 10 years. So this clearly tells that I'm going to talk about only the last 10 years. So I'm escaped. And my topic is reviews. So you see here the title of the review and the authors and what is the reference number that I have. So in the last 10 years in the same field, around 20 reviews published. 20 reviews. That is one table that I generated for this particular review. Okay. So similar way, you can just, look at that. I'm just looking at that. Compilation of experimental studies accompanied by complementary computational calculations. So how many studies? One. Just going to look at that. The table goes with 134 entries. So in the last 10 years, 134 papers are in this field uses a computational technique that I have given. So the point is you should develop the data. You should curate the information and project it in terms of figures and tables. Of course, sometime we need to take the figure or a table from the published content with the prior permission. There are ways in which you can get the permission that is freely available. We can get to that. So my review paper contains a lot of images that are adapted from the published one. You can also think about it. So, okay. So that is also the one. And then you just think about it. It's a mix of both where you created and then you have taken it. Okay. So illustrations when you use that should be autonomous, meaning they have to be intelligible without having to read the text portion. So when you come up with the images should be very clear so that you don't want to have extra text to explain the image again, because the purpose of introducing images, figures, flowcharts, and so on, just to ease the reader to get the concept clearly. Conclusion. In my simple idea, if you want to write a review article, talk about the past and dwell in the present time, and then give a forecast about the future. So the past, present, and future should be there as an integral component of your future perspective and conclusions. What do you really want to say? How do you say the entire 70 pages, 50 pages are going to complete with your beautiful summary, right? That is a conclusion. So you give a concise summary of the important findings that describe the knowledge, and it should offer a rationale for conducting future research. So if I want to read your research, the research review, the review should give like, okay, I have gone through that review and it is equivalent to 200 papers. Can you give that? Okay. Some suggestions that we can always think about it. Never ever copy any sentence from anyone. Okay. Never ever copy anything, because you have to write. If you want to really use AI tools, you can use for refinement of language, but not asking them to develop the content. Very important, right? So you need to be very careful in getting the permission, ethical clearance, ethical issues, and so on. And I want to say a few things to you that is like in the form of 10 golden rules that I used to follow. Okay, so that is from my personal experience. It may be right or it may be wrong. You may have your own way. The first one is you should know your journals. If you want to write a review, just pick the best review journal in your domain. Take that. That is very, very important. And then read the aim and scope of the journal just to see that whether that really falls into my domain. For example, Journal of Networking. So immediately biology people will say that, oh, this is like, I think Journal of Networking is something like the neural networking, the biological system networking, and so on. And computer science people will tell that, oh, this is networking. Yeah, this is our networking. We have a lot of, digital networking, and this particular journal is talking about me. And commerce and management people say, this is networking is our domain, right? Networking, marketing. So you really need to know, just because it's Journal of Networking, all these three people may claim. So you have to read the aim and scope of the journal to get, oh, is this the journal's aim and scope, whether that is relevant. Glean through recent issues. Just read at what kind of reviews are being published in the recent past. to get to know about the current trend. Otherwise, what happened? I might be got PhD 10, 15 years ago, and then with that past life or the understanding, I'm just running the show. Suddenly, I'm just waking up and say, okay, I'm going to write a review article. I want to write. Oh, good. But we cannot be the prisoners of past, right? Please read the recent trends, recent issues. Get the trend. Okay, I may be good at management, but now the trend is it is like a particular domain, particular keyword. Get the trend, what people are talking about. Follow the literature. My suggestion is read, read, read. Without reading anything, don't propose it. Without reading anything, don't think about writing anything. Without reading anything, don't have any idea about writing a review article. Reading is must. Strengthen your idea with the reading. Okay, I have this idea, whether that is working or not, what people are saying, other thing. Because when you want to write a review, minimum of 50 articles should be published so that you will have enough content. In the 50 articles, each article may have 50 references, maybe 40 references, maybe irrelevant references, but 10 will be. So when you look at that, you have to enrich your idea with a literature that will shape your idea a lot. Choose your type. Are you going to write a mini review? Are you going to write a narrative review or a critical review or a meta-analysis and so on? Choose your type. Select at least 5 review articles in that choice. Recently published from one journal or 5 different journals. Just take the 5 review articles published. Decode the published review. For example, how many pages, the question that we raised, how many analysis, how many subheadings, how many figures, how many tables, how many references. We need a model. And that model can be, obtained when we get the 5 papers, 5 review articles. Once that is done, start writing. Start writing. Start writing the review article. Draw the skeleton. Okay, I'm going to have 5 big topics, and for each topics, 7 subheadings. For each subheading, I am going to add 3 figures and 3 tables. All these things. Once the outline is ready, you are done, almost done, so that you can start writing. Put all your ideas. By the time you have gone through, many papers, many review articles, and you have 5 beautiful review articles as model. With that 5 review articles, you can write your beautiful review. That is really easy to work in that fashion. And with this, I take this opportunity to thank the IQAC of the college and the principal secretary and all the administrative faculty who thoughtfully look into this particular review writing aspect and providing an opportunity for me to interact with you. And